Skarner has ult.
Yeah. Definitely agree with you, but when you are playing a bit of this sort of scaling composition with the GP and the Azir, having to spend like 1,300 gold to get that QSS for really one ability, not as worth. Obviously, the GP is going to have the oranges, which makes it K, and means that he's going to have a much more reasonable time versing against the Skarner, but Dice still going to be a little bit more vulnerable.
Out the suppress?
Hmm?
Can you orange out the suppress?
Yeah, bro. Orange works against everything, bro.
Yo, oranges are broken, bro.
Bro, vitamin C is something different.
Is Tropicana just like the most OP company in the world? Like, what? Yo, someone nerf GP oranges, bro. What's happening?
It's honestly insane. Well, and the thing is, the GP orange is called Remove Scurvy, which would imply that all the CC that's actually being done to a GP is some sort of like disease where he lacks the vitamin C. I don't know. Like you can do super things.
That is a base way to look at it. You know.
Yeah.
That damage you did to me, that's disease. Like, yo, that's cold. Yo, GP got bars. Okay,
well, I mean, like you are a pharmacist, so I would imagine that you sort of understand what these sorts of remedies are. And in your professional opinion, would you say that oranges do make everything K?
Well, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away. They don't necessarily an orange, but maybe GP's on something. You know, maybe he's just not trying to be basic. You know, maybe it's actually a little bit of acidity that you need in your life to keep yourself healthy.
Yeah, that's fair players. In the bot lane, Yuhi and Loser getting sort of the initial shove here. This is relatively expected in Draven lanes just because you've got those spinning axes. And if you do get into any all-ins with Marble and Reiner, you should just be winning them. Junglers doing clearing on the opposite sides of the map. Flawless pathing towards Rayfaki. We'll have to see if the GP can keep his wave a little bit more towards his tower, maybe set up for a gank onto Kinatsu.
Yeah, indeed, as you said, the Draven with the 2 axes, that should be fine. As long as he doesn't start dropping them, he should be dishing out quite a bit of damage. Talking about damage, though, Dice dropping quite a lot onto Dasher already. Those soldiers really putting in that work early on, but needs to be careful. Obviously, one charm can change it all. However, the junglers not going to be anywhere near the lanes just yet. They're going for the full clears. They're going to try and finish off their camps, and then I think we're going to get some slow scuttle crabs, and then maybe a gank on opposite sides of the map.
Yeah, and I feel like this makes a lot of sense. I think Skarner and Poppy are both champions that can get ganks going early on, but their level 6 spikes are absolutely ridiculous. So definitely not going to be upset with Flawless and Blank maybe trying to scale a little bit more on these champions, as we do see a small invade from Flawless there on the top side dropping a ward, just trying to scout out where this Skarner actually is. Not going to be able to find him just yet.
Yeah, they are going to know because he did use that vision plant. He is going to get that spire. They should get some awareness as Dice just about dodging that charm there. And Skarner going for the full clear already ever so slightly ahead of the Poppy. And to be fair, able to get themselves going, building themselves up. And as you said, that level 6 does change everything. It's not as impactful for the Poppy. I'd like to try and see Flawless get a few ganks in the earlier stages because your level 3 is so insane.
Yeah, and something we haven't really talked about is this top lane matchup. Rayfaki has already built up a very, very significant CS advantage for himself up against the Gwen. And that means he's going to be accessing itemization a little bit earlier than he would necessarily expect. We are starting to see resets come through from multiple players. Obviously, Rayfaki has now picked up that Sheen, which is an incredible spike on the GP, and the Ionian Boots of Lucidity for both of these junglers, incredibly efficient, giving you that extra cooldown, and means that your smite is going to be up a little bit more often.
Yeah, indeed, it will, and obviously that timing can kind of throw some people off as well. The Ionian Boots giving you the shorter cooldown on the ultimate as well, makes it a little bit harder to track, so you might be popping up a little bit more often than you would like. Talk about popping up, kind of going back to the farming, just going to keep power clearing. And to be fair, a very relaxed early game, but it may change as Reiner is looking around that mid lane.
Yeah, Loser's roaming over as well. This is kind of standard for supports in Pro. Like, after you take your first base, you kind of just run mid lane and hope that something is going to happen. Obviously, you're there in case the enemy support is going to go for a gank as well. But Flawless and Loser may look for something here. It's actually pretty aggressive by Flawless, honestly, into the Hawks' jungle. Could get punished, but they might be looking mid lane.
Oh, charm does land. Dice now trying to get away, but gets blocked. Oh, we'll get out with the flash, but here comes Poppy. Flawless going to be able to get them knocking back, but Blank, easy stun walks away, got the flash out of Dice, did exactly what he wanted to do. We'll see if Burning Core want to push the button one more time. It looks like they're just trying to get some priority in the lane for Dice to help him clear this wave.
Yeah, and now a key thing we just saw there is Dasher hit over to level 6. This is a massive spike on the RA. It gives you a little bit more pressure in terms of your own lane, but also means that your roams to side lanes are going to be a hell of a lot more effective. And you've actually got a fair bit of setup there, especially in this bottom lane. The On the Hunt from Marble, once that comes through, is an amazing tool to get on top of Yuhi, to get on top of Loser. And then Nautilus's entire kit is just CC. So if you're able to lock someone down, if you can get your mid laner roaming over as well, then we could see a lot of kills coming through for the Hawks.
Yeah, indeed. Blank and Flawless there just matching up in the river, both on bot side. The Scuttle Crab fight is going to go over the way of Flawless, though, because no mid laner for the side of the Hawks in the lane. And it's a pretty calm early game so far. Obviously, that gank going down. I wonder if probably is going to go for the Drake. I think it'd be kind of bold, but they are going to clear out this ward to make sure that it seems a little bit more dark on the map.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the Cloud Drake does a fair bit of damage early, which I think is sort of why Flawless is sort of back in array, recognizes that possibly not the best time to actually start that one up, but it has been a little bit tepid in these early stages. So I definitely think that Burning Core are going to be happy with the game in terms of the pace, although Kinatsu might look to change that.
Ray Farky in a lot of trouble. They're going to take that damage, but not going to go down. Kinatsu not able to finish off that kill, and Ray Farky going to get a base. Does have TP though, so can come back immediately, and that's not going to be too worrying because we've already seen Kinatsu blow that TP as well. So no advantage would be lost, and now we are going to see just that Dasher. They're going to roam around. We'll spot Flawless on his Raptors. He's going to be able to walk back to lane. So far, so good for the side of Burning Core, I would say. We talked about how they have the scaling elements of their team. I think the Hawks, too, they do have that late game insurance, but maybe don't want to go to those deep waters.
Yeah, I think the thing that's worried me is we've not really seen any effort to enable Yuhi, and obviously the more time that Draven can stack up those axes, stack up that passive, means that he's going to get more gold when he eventually cashes in, but you really can't leave it too long, otherwise the enemy team might realize that there's a Draven in the game and try and shut him down before he can get access to all of that bonus gold. So I'd like to see Burning Core be a little bit more proactive around the Draven, but 8 minutes on the clock, that means it's Rift Herald time.
Indeed, it has spawned in. Admittedly, no movement just yet. We are seeing slowly Yuhi and Loser move up to this mid lane, so they are going to try and make a play, and they've just left Marble in the bot lane, so it does look like the Hawks will most likely give this one over if there is going to be some contention for it, or they're saying that they are waiting in this bush.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a strange play from Burning Core. I think that they maybe expected Hawks to actually contest them a little bit more around the Rift Herald than the Softbank Hawks have actually ended up doing, and that means that Marbles had a little bit of free time on that bot lane. Crucially, isn't able to take down that plate, so he doesn't get all of that bonus gold going into his pocket. But I think Burning Core trying to play around the tendencies of the enemy team, and the Hawks recognizing what Burning Core wanted to do and actually saying, no, we're not going to opt into your strategy. We'll let you take this Rift Herald. We don't need to contest.
Yeah, indeed, Marble there, able to get a little bit of damage onto the tower. Should be able to take a plate here as well, so a bit of gold going their way. And up ever so slightly in farm as well on the Yuhi, so that's kind of what you want to see from the Sivir. Obviously, if Draven gets ahead, then, well, this game could be put to bed. But Blank and Flawless going to be able to trade objectives there. Dragon for the Herald. And that Cloud Drake is a lot better than it used to be now. 7% move speed plus slow resistance.
Yeah, and that extra movement speed on stuff like the Sivir is obviously going to be great, but I really like it on the RE too. It enhances your ability to roam, it enhances your ability to get to side lanes, and that's really where Dasher is going to want to be. Already got that Lost chapter, so clearing the wave is incredibly easy, and once you hit level 9, you've maxed out that Orb of Deception, so your wave clear goes up even more.
Even more indeed. It has made it a little bit difficult for the ganks to come through. They're obviously Dice quite close to his tower. Does have the shuffle as well. As they are going to go for this charm lands. There's the Impale. They're able to get the damage down. But a great Empress Divide keeps him safe. And there's the hook from Nautilus. He managed to pick up the damage as well. Flawless now trying to turn this one back in their favor. But Death Touch knocks them up. And now Poppy could be in trouble here. Although a beautiful knock-up from Loser keeps them at bay. And he will be able to keep his Poppy out of danger. But Dice going down. The Hawks picking up first blood.
Holy moly, has Reiner attached a magnet to the end of his hook? There was no way that that should have hit. It looked like it almost went through 3 minions, but it hit, and the end, it is the Hawks picking up that kill, and crucially, it goes on to Dasher, accelerating this RE, especially when that man in the mid lane is piloting it is such a good sign for the Hawks. And what I love here is just the patience. Blank is waiting for this play for oh so long, and we see Reiner moving over as well. The thing about the Azir is you've got a lot of safety, but that can bait you in. Such a beautiful charm coming through. Dice not able to dash away in time, and this hook, how the hell does that hit?
So clean, so clinical, and then Flawless almost going a little bit too far, but Allison with a great pulverized headbutt combination to keep them safe. As now Ganatsu maybe in a bit of trouble here, going to get slammed against the wall, and that is all she wrote. Flawless redeeming a gank back for the team. Picks up a kill on the top lane.
Yeah, and this is something that Kanatsu can do from time to time. When he came into the league, he was heralded as this great mechanical top lane and one of the few players that was able to challenge Ebby. He has tempered down in his aggression somewhat over the past few splits, but definitely someone that gets a little bit too hyphy from time to time. And hey, Burning Core picking up a kill. They're going to be evening up that gold. You would have loved that gold to be channeled into Rayfaki, but the thing about Poppy is she actually does fairly well with early gold, with itemization, but Yuhi having some time onto Marble. This is a lot of damage.
All the axes are flying in. I don't think he's going to be able to get it to range. Does have ulti though. Might try and look for it, but he's not going to throw it just yet. Maybe going to look to get a little bit under tower. Maybe get another auto in. So we're going to see the Rift Herald dropped in the mid lane. That's going to be a couple plates over to Dice. A little bit of gold injected into the Azir funds.
Yeah, not going to be complaining about that. Obviously, getting you closer and closer to your first item spike is going to feel great, as we do already see the Luden's Tempest here for Dasher, and the Trinity Force available for Rayfaki. So items really starting to coming on board. And this is interesting, actually. The Hawks have been fairly active around this bot side quadrant. Obviously, with Skadi, you can get a load of free vision from those spires, so your scouting is a little bit more effective than other champions. But it's really about controlling the bottom side of the map and making sure that Yuhi doesn't get the support that he needs to get fed.
Agreed. Whirling Death there was available. I'm surprised he didn't try and pull the trigger. You know, I feel like he could have maybe gone all in for it, but obviously if there was the spell shield, then it blocks it. It is what it is. But as you said, they do kind of need to put a bit of priority on to this Draven. The stacks are building up, and if he does die, he loses 3/4 of the stacks already built up. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a rough time.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how much priority these teams put towards this Hextech Drake coming up in around about a minute or so, because that first Drake was taken sort of 3 minutes after it spawns, which isn't like super late, but it is a little bit later than maybe the Hawks would have liked. So I'll be intrigued whether they think that they are on a power level where they feel like they can contest Burning Core when that Drake spawns.
Yeah, and I'm also interested to see if Burning Core actually go for the play onto it, because they gave up the last dragon for free. You know, they said, we want the Herald instead. The Herald is going to be spawning. Maybe they just look for the priority over that. Or maybe they say, you know what, we're ready to contest. We are pretty strong. Yuhi has got some decent items now. And obviously Azir already got their mythic completed. Rayfaki could join with the ult as well. Maybe they take the power and they take the dragon.
Yeah, with Blank resetting from the top side of the map, I imagine that he is going to be heading towards that Drake relatively quickly, as we see Dice clearing out a few wards around this bottom side of the map. But you can see just on the minimap how many blue wards there are deep in Burning Core's jungle. There's no real flank TP available, but getting to know the timings of when the enemy is actually approaching that Drake is so important when you are setting up for a fight.
Indeed, it is. And right now, we are going to see Flawless there just clearing out some vision. Dragon going to be spawning now. And we are seeing the Hawks slowly but surely get into this bush. And now Yuhi could be in trouble here. The hook, if it lands, could be massive. Right now, going to be able to get the stun. And there's the Impale. They're bringing him back, but they don't have the damage necessarily just yet. Yuhi now trying to get away with it. There's the knock up, and here comes Simba. They take down the Draven, and Loser could be next. He's trying to get to the wall. He does flash over, but the Simba is going to chase him down. Marble gets the pickup, and they are looking to trade this for tier 1 mid, but they may not even be able to get it. Dasher is now moving in, looking to clear this wave. Will not be able to stop them from taking the inevitable tower. But Draken, 2 kills for mid lane tower. I think that's kind of worth for the Hawks.
It is first half of Burning Core, so that makes the trade a little bit more in their favor. But what were we talking about, J-Real? You can't leave this Draven on its own for too long. Otherwise, the enemy team will just make a play onto him, and so many of those stacks, so much of that gold value taken off the board. And that means that Marble now, pretty much even on itemizations with Yuhi, is going to have a much better time playing out the rest of this game. And this is kind of just a Yuhi moment, stepping up a little bit too far, not respecting where the enemy team can come from. This is a good attempt by Loser to try and back up his boy, to try and rescue the play, but it just ends up getting caught out himself. And with that kill going over to Marble as well, these AD carries are in sort of opposite land. The Civi's got a strong early game and is really coming into this mid game ahead. And whilst Yuhi's doing decently in terms of itemization, he's definitely not where he'd like to be.
And there's major concerns coming into the later stages with this because Draven, well, I don't know how many people are playing Draven at this moment, but if you're not ahead of the start, yes, you do big damage, but your ability to get off your damage in later fights is so much more difficult than it is going to be for the Civi. The Civi is going to be able to throw their boomerang blades. They're going to be able to get those autos from deep, and they can spin around with the bouncing blades. And the thing is, Draven, you kind of need to be heads up with someone, and if you don't have the damage to basically 2-3 shot them, well, you're going to have a bit of a rough time.
Oh, this Dice might have a rough time in the top lane.
Oh, does Empress Divide away? Blank now chasing them down. The flash is used, and he will be able to get away. But once again, Dice forced to run by this Skarner, the scary Scorpion chasing with the Emperor. Oh, as the charm almost lands on Dice.
And this is great from the Hawks. They're the ones making the proactive plays. They're the ones pushing the tempo up against Burning Core. But crucially, look at that gold in the top of your screens. It is still even. This GP is absolutely monstering Kanatsu in terms of the 1v1. And Dice is absolutely relevant in the mid lane. Whilst the Draven has been having a bad time, these are still carries available. Oh no, Loser, what are you doing, mate?
Yeah, Loser very much in the wrong side of town here. This one should be given over to Siva, no problem. Oh, picking up another kill was Kanatsu. Now looking to solo Rayfaki. We talked about the top lane not going necessarily too good, but Blank might be able to pick up this kill. Rayfaki trying to get away, but Flawless's presence will stop him from going any further.
Okay, well, that makes the top lane look a hell of a lot worse for Burning Core, though, if Kanatsu was able to play onto Rayfaki like that. We didn't catch the beginning of that exchange, so maybe Rayfaki was doing something a little bit suspect. But Loser, what the heck are you doing there, man? You need to be teaming up with at least someone, probably Flawless, if you want to be going for those invades, trying to clear out some vision. But I also don't understand why you're trying to clear out established vision, because there is nothing to play for on the bottom side of the map for the next few minutes. And this is something that we see fairly often from these supports coming into the league a little bit more recently. They don't have the experience in competitive environments. They don't really understand how warding patterns work and when it's safe to do something and when it absolutely isn't. As in the top lane,
talking about safe, Rayfaki not feeling that. It's going to be a lot of damage. He's still alive, but the tower is going to go down. They're able to move forward, and Rayfaki goes back to base.
Yeah, and this is just saying the Hawks, once again, I nearly did a U there, J-Real. This is just the Hawks recognizing that they can make aggressive plays. Burning Core definitely not slacking, always looking to trade on the other part of the map, and that's why the gold has stayed as even as it was. But gold lies sometimes, J-Real. You really want to be looking at which team is able to make proactive plays, which team is able to play aggressively, and for my money, that is all the Hawks right now.
Now, they did pick up that tower, as you said. They have got some gold back into their pocket, but I do agree with you. It does feel like it's all momentum-wise the way of the Hawks. Now, they haven't got this mid tower just yet. What happened?
Yeah, what? Taxes. Taxes have been paid, J-Real.
Taxes.
Her Majesty's Revenues and Customs have claimed their dues, as that is 2 QSSs built for the members of Burning Core. Flawless and Yuhi picking that one up. So the gold lead, again, lying a little bit because you have sunk so much gold into that itemization. But when you are playing up against a Skarner that has been as active and as efficient as Blank has been in this sort of early mid-game stages, definitely don't hate the purchase.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't hate the purchase at all. I do think that it's a necessary evil. And you know what? Once upon a time, QSS used to be part of the Draven build, you know? Back in the old days, Ghostblade into the Merc skin. That was the days, man. That was way back when I used to be a Draven man.
That was proper like Tyler 1 Origin era Draven builds. Yeah. Wait, you used to be a Draven main?
Yeah. I had like 3 months as an ADC main, and Draven was just my thing. You know, it's
fair play. Definitely not the champion I would suggest if you're picking up AD carry. We might have a fight here.
Ooh, we are going to get one indeed. Loser, they're going to be caught up, but very tanky as Blank going into the back line. Takes the Azir and he's gone down. We do see the Poppy getting away with the keeper's verdict, but it's not going to be enough for the team as Yuhi now in a bit of a tricky situation. Does QSS to get away. There is the hook. Rayfaki now the next one in trouble, but it's not going to be enough. They're able to keep themselves safe, but the Hawks just putting down that pressure. They put some pressure onto the mid tower. They're looking for the dragon now. They're just keeping up this tempo.
And this is absolutely huge. The Hawks take that fight, and they're going to be able to get themselves towards Soul Point this early in the game. We had questions about this composition, how effective it would be. Is looking pretty damn good so far. So what happens here? This is Burning Core just not really having vision around the Dragon Pit, but recognizing a little bit too late that they absolutely have to fight it. So the Hawks can just stack up here in this bushes. We're seeing a little bit of action in the picture-in-picture. Don't worry about that for the time being. This hook from Rhino, and then the flash over the wall from Blank. One of the few targets without that QSS. If you don't pay your taxes, Her Majesty's Revenues and Customs will come for you, and they will kill you.
They indeed do, and Yuhi almost getting caught there. Really nice step forward from Rayfaki. I'm going to say that's intentional to block that one for the Draven, because if the Draven had been hooked, it would have been goodbye to your stacks.
Yeah, so let's look on the other side. Let's look at what Burning Core have actually got going for them, because we know that the Hawks are in the lead. We know that they're winning. We know that they've got all of these advantages. Well, you've got 2 items on Rayfaki with that collector picked up, and it's actually a fairly squishy composition that you're playing into, so that's a little bit more efficient than it would be otherwise. As here, also at 2 items, Dice does a hell of a lot of damage if he's offered the space to do it. As Loser, oh no, buddy.
Oh no, not again. He's caught out, he's being chased down. There's not really any way for him to run out of this situation. He's going to be picked up by Dasher, another one over to the Ari. And it now feels like they're starting to get into the realm of stat checking. And you know what? It feels like the Hawks have said, you know what? If you can't pay, we're going to take it away. And that's exactly what they're doing with the jungle of Flawless.
And obviously it has been Loser who's been caught out these past few times. But that's kind of the lot of support at this point into the game. And it's sort of emblematic of what sort of a team Burning Core have been. Individually, really, really good players. But as soon as it comes to map play, as soon as it comes to actually thinking, playing the game a little bit more with your brain rather than with your fingers, that's when they tend to struggle, and you see these weird assignments that don't really work out, and Loser, unfortunately, just ends up being the sacrificial cow.
He is indeed, and you know what? That didn't always work out, if you look at Roman times, you know? Sometimes the cow wasn't good, you know? It depends on the color of the smoke and that, so we'll see if it is going to be enough to bring Burning Core back into the game, but you never know, it may not work out for them.
Yeah, they are in a pretty rough spot, especially when you see the gold disparities between the mid laners and the AD carries. 2k in favor of Marble in the bot lane and around about 1.5 in favor of Dash. It was also the highest level in the game, by the way, 2 levels up on Dyson. Those base stats that you get from the levels are absolutely relevant. It is hundreds of gold worth of stats, so this Ari is incredibly strong right now, and the Hawks really sort of recognizing that, sort of flexing their potential, clearing out some vision around this Baron, potentially teasing that they're going to be starting it up in the next few minutes.
And when you're saying about the gold does lie sometimes, it does feel like that, because you said the Gangplank up quite a bit against the Gwen, but the Gwen is still so relevant in this game. It feels like they're basically even, whereas if you look at the mid lane, Ari definitely putting in quite a bit more work.
And this is what we were sort of talking about with the Gwen nerfs not really being nerfs, because she did get a little bit more bonus armor and magic resist on that W, or on that Hallowed Mist, so you can survive a little bit longer in terms of fights. But the big thing for me is that you can now cast your ult without having to auto-attack a champion in between. Previously, it was you cast your ult and then you have to damage someone. Oh no, Guy's taking about 60% of his HP for nothing. But previously, you had to damage someone after you did the first cast of your ult, and you then get additional charges. How it works right now is that you just wait 1 second and then you can cast your ult again. And those needles actually do a fair bit of work. So that's why we're seeing stuff like the Shadow Flame come out from these Gwens, when previously the Nash's Tooth was a bit more prioritized.
But it's more than just the damage. It's not only that they do damage in the fight, it's also that they give so much healing back to Gwen. And previously, she would have had to be in a little bit of a compromised situation because she would have had to auto you. But now she can just throw them out how she likes and gain that healing back. So it is a massive change to the kit. But back into this game, Infernal Drake in 55 seconds. This is the sole point for the Hawks. Burning Core surely have to fight.
Oh, they absolutely have to fight, J-Roll. If they don't fight here, they just lose the entire goddamn game. Unfortunately for them, we have just seen that Shadow Flame completed for Konatsu. I guess the small sort of quantum of solace is that Marble isn't quite at Infinity Edge yet on this Civis. So in terms of item parity, as the gold comes up again, so we can't actually see the items, Burning Core are actually in a stronger position now than they have been for a couple of minutes. You've got 2 items on your Draven, you've got 2 items on your GP, and on your Azir as well. You need to fight right now, and I'm not sure that you're going to get a better opportunity.
We are going to see if the adrenaline is pumping. Fight or flight is the situation there. Seriously, it's only one option, though. We'll see if they can make it happen. Blank looking for the potential targets, which are pretty much dice. To be fair, you don't want to be getting that Poppy or the Draven both QSS'd up. Obviously, GP as well can't orange it out, but they're going to be going in here. Loser trying to play the bouncer. He's trying to keep them out, as we are going to see. Keeper's Verdict knocks back the Skarner, but there's the charm coming in from the side. Poppy going to be able to secure the dragon. No soul point just now, but here they go. Trying to run away from this one, as here comes Gwen on the back line. Dice going to be able to stay himself alive, but there they go over the wall. They picked up one, they picked up 2. But Lawler's now in trouble as well. He's just trying to run. He's got no damage to deal, and Dice will be the last one to drop. It's a full ace to the side of the Hawks. They're flying high and they're soaring through this game.
Oh no, Burning Core pick up the Drake. They deny the soul, but they lose everything else for it. The death timer's not long enough for the Hawks to end, but an inhib is definitely on the cards.
For sure. Blank there also tanking the tower. Maybe not on the cards, wasn't planned, but keeps the minions alive for a little bit longer. This could potentially open up to get some Nexus towers here.
Hold on, we've still got 15 seconds on Dice, 10 seconds on Yuhi. They might just go for this, J-Real.
They're going for the end here. Poppy not up just yet. They kill Loser off as well. Poppy now into the game, but not able to get any knockaways. Tries to get this done, but it makes no difference. The Nexus falls, 50 more gold in their bank account, and the Hawks pick up game 1.
Holy